The new Minister of State for Disaster Preparedness, Management and Reconstruction touring the island of Abaco. An international agency assisting the Ministry of Education. And tonight, a Dorian survivor shares his story and his concerns. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Wolf-Arcus, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. We begin with news from the island of Abaco. Some 2 months after that northern island was decimated by Hurricane Dorian, hundreds of buildings, including schools and government offices, are still in a state of disrepair. The new Minister of State for Disaster Preparedness, Management and Reconstruction touring that island yesterday to make assessments and chart the way forward. Megan Shepard was there.
The road to recovery for the island of Abaco, particularly for those in the central communities, is undoubtedly a long one. Hundreds of homes remain unrecognizable, schools remain closed, and government buildings are still inoperable. With restoration being a top priority, the Minister of State for Disaster Preparedness, Management and Reconstruction, the Honorable Iram Lewis, led a delegation of engineers to the island to view key landmarks in the North and Central Abaco districts, including the Little Abaco Bridge.
And it's obvious that we had a failure for three main reasons. Part of it was the flood, storm surge. Secondly, it was as a result of wind loading. And thirdly, it was a result of negligent in terms of construction, defective construction. Little inspection. A lot of the code requirement was infracted. And as a result, we lost a lot of our structures. If we had followed the code to the T, I believe the destruction could have been minimized.
Now, the Minister of State also visited the Treasure Key community, one of the island's more popular tourist cities, and unfortunately, one of the communities that took a major beating during Hurricane Dorian. Now, to my left is what remains of the Treasure Key Hotel. What has not been completely destroyed by Hurricane Dorian has been gutted and now sits in piles around the hotel property. Now, as Abaco contributes significantly to the national treasury, rebuilding as soon as possible is crucial. The delegation includes engineers from the Ministry of Works, the University of Miami, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, the Professional Architects Board, and the Institute of Bahamian Architects. Minister Lewis says that this team has been charged with the task of documenting their findings and recommendations going forward.
We will make adjustments to our town planning. We will make adjustments to our code. Of course, we will fortify it. But one of the things that we must ensure is that once we have the code fortified, that the code is properly enforced. We don't have sufficient staff members with the Ministry of Works or even with the Grand Bahama Port Authority Department. So we will be tasking some of the private sector architects and contractors to partner with us to train inspectors to ensure that once these buildings are permitted, giving approval for construction, that we have the relevant persons, the professionals on site, ensuring that the foundation is done properly, that the columns are done properly, the bell course done properly, the roof tie into the bell course, that is all done properly, because when you look at it, a person is spending perhaps their largest investment, all their money is in the largest investment, and we will ensure that that is done properly, that is protected.
Based on their initial assessments of the damage, Minister Lewis says that he was surprised by the findings.
I heard a lot of shoddy construction, but of course a lot of it, no matter how good the construction was, Dorian was a beast. That was a monster. And getting pounded for 36 plus hours, 180 miles per hour sustained, 200 plus gusting wind, even the best built structure would have failed, but that does not give us the excuse not to build it properly.
Now, Administrator for North and Central Abaco, Therese Budalang, says she is pleased that the team viewed these important structures.
We know that assessments were carried out on other structures, such as our schools, our government clinics, administrative complex building, and in Green Key, assessments are ongoing. But we are happy to see that the minister is paying attention to how to fortify our structures and mitigate the damage in the future, because this is devastating for Abaco, and so we want to see a more resilient Abaco emerge out of this disaster.
Minister Lewis adds that the team will also travel to Grand Bahama to make assessments. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Megan. Well, the Member of Parliament for Marco City, the Honourable Michael Pintard, doing his part to provide help and hope for persons in the community as they take steps to put their lives back together following Hurricane Dorian. Jay Philippe has more.
Hundreds of residents gathered at the Montmartre Park in Arden Forest, where a Member of Parliament for Marco City, the Honourable Michael Pintard, spearheaded a distribution of relief items for residents in that community. Among those items were care packages, hygiene packages, and food packages. Pintard said he felt it was important to hold a distribution drive throughout the constituency.
We've been literally in each of the constituencies doing deliveries, and so this is just a continuation of that. This evening, when we are through here, we'll be delivering more than 250 sheets of sheetrock, vouchers as well for other building supplies, because we believe persons have to get back to normal. Getting back in their houses is far more critical than even what we're doing here today.
Pintard says the aim is to ensure that they provide assistance for businesses and residents. He says this is something that he is committed to.
This is private citizens, non-governmental organization, governmental organizations all coming together to make sure that we try to restore family by family. We're working across the political divide, as many persons would know. I've spoken with every single former Member of Parliament of Marco City to ask for their support and their assistance in this regard. Not one of them have not gotten involved, and they're very much committed to helping, and they're doing their own thing as well in assisting.
The Marco City MP says that his team, along with private organizations, will continue to assist residents in Marco City in the next few days.
We have teams that are coming in courtesy of several churches, and we'll be doing mold remediation in a number of homes jointly. We're also working with local government. Mr. Culmer is here, and so again, this is just team effort.
One of the recipients of the care packages, Veronica Ellis, says this was perfect timing.
Receiving these items, it means a very lot to me, because not only am I receiving items for myself, I'm receiving items for persons who is bedridden, persons who can't come out. You have the young, you have the elderly, you have some babies who can't get out to get things for themselves. So that's the purpose that I always toe the line, to be able to bless myself and to bless others in the process.
I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
Well, a special service taking place on the eve of Remembrance Day for the 8 victims who went missing in High Rock during Hurricane Dorian. The service, a reflection in honor of those who are believed to have perished in the monster storm, was filled with songs of hope and words of healing. Romiko Knowles was there.
September 1st, 2019 is a day that has written itself into Bahamian history. It is the day that many lives were changed and lives were lost. It is the day that the most powerful storm on record made landfall into the northern Bahamas. As the days and weeks has now turned into months since the passing of Hurricane Dorian, there are many that are still trying to cope with the amount of loss and devastation brought by the deadly storm. Family members of those who are missing assembling under a tent on the government park in High Rock, wearing t-shirts with pictures of their missing loved ones. It was an emotional day as they continue to mourn over those who are presumed to have perished. Noting that it is fitting to pause on a day such as Remembrance Day to honor those who are missing, Senator the Honorable K. Forbes Smith says the loss must result in a change in those who remain. Area Member of Parliament the Honorable K. Peter Turnquest assuring families that they will continue every reasonable effort to search and recover their missing loved ones.
As the days and weeks since Dorian have now turned into months, we will and all still vividly remember the historic hurricane with its 185 miles per hour winds, its gusts of up to 220 miles per hour, and the powerful surge of up to 20 feet, all of which pummeled Abaco and Grand Bahama. It was catastrophic to dwellings, businesses, and infrastructure, which are all well documented. However, Dorian took a much more costly toll on the psyche of all Bahamians, who now live with the gruesome reality that Dorian was the storm that took the lives of many people.
The loss of life we have witnessed in our community is devastating, and our hearts are full with grief and sadness, even as we hope, against hope, that our loved ones will be yet found alive through the mercies of God, or if he suffers it to be so, that we can recover their remains, such that we can have closure.
Pastor of New Destiny Fellowship Center, Glenn Russell, offering words of hope to the families. He says that during these difficult times, we all share one thing in common.
I think we all have heard and agreed to this fact that death is the greatest equalizer. I realize no matter how much money you have in the bank, and no matter what car you drive and how big your house is, when death hits your life, we all come down to the same level. And while I can come up here and speak in tongues and preach you happy, but the reality is you are hurting. The reality is you are in pain. And an eco shatter ain't gonna heal that.
In addition, he says that he is familiar with the pain that they're feeling as he lost his aunt during the storm.
I talked to my auntie that night and she sent a message saying, "Nephew, I wish I have not stayed." And I text her back and I said, "You could have come by me, auntie, blah, blah, blah." And then I text her back and then I get one tick. That one tick hit me. And every now and again I open up the chat and I said, I'm waiting to see two tick. But I'm sure that I'm not going to see that two tick.
Reflecting on the memory of her father, daughter of Clarence Jones, Clarneth Jones, says on September 2nd at 12:30 a.m., she sent a text message to her dad, a message she says he never received.
He was my best friend, my confidant, my hero, but most of all, he's her daddy. Her daddy was well loved by his children, grandchildren, great-granddaughter, brothers, sisters, friends, and colleagues.
Candles were lit in memory of the missing loved ones, and special prayers were offered to the families. Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
I walk his straight and narrow. Ministry of Education, Grand Bahama District, receiving some assistance from an international agency in the restoration of schools in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian. Here's Jay Philippe.
Education officials in Grand Bahama, along with various principals from throughout the island, gathered at the C.A. Smith building, where the Adventist Development and Relief Agency made yet another donation to the Department of Education. To date, this organization has donated 420 desks and chairs for the students of Hugh Campbell Primary School. The organization is now donating backpacks to the principals for students in Grand Bahama, Abaco, and the surrounding keys. Superintendent of Education, Ivan Butler, expressed gratitude for the donations.
I express my sincere gratitude to you and your organization for your much-needed assistance and generous donations to our schools. Note that your acts of kindness has definitely helped in expediting the process of our students returning to our schools in a more comfortable and safe environment.
Pastor Henry Monka, Country Director for the Adventist Development and Relief Agency for the Bahamas, says the organization wanted to get students the necessary tools for school.
In terms of the backpacks, making sure at least every child has some sort of a school supply set that they can work with. Because most of us know that many of the children in Grand Bahama and even Abaco lost a lot in terms of this storm. Coming just before school was supposed to reopen, and homes that had just brought school supplies all of a sudden found themselves trying to find out how will we get this back for our children when we just spent it. And so our just initiative has been one to make sure that we partner along with the Ministry of Education and by extension with you as principals to be able to provide something that will be able to help you as you work with your students to try to help them get back to normalcy.
Water Mission Group has constructed a water station at the Maurice Moore Primary School to produce potable water for all schools. The majority of the schools in Grand Bahama have water ladders that provide safe drinking water for staff, students, and the wider community. Frank Riemann, Emergency Response Coordinator for ADRA Internationals, says they will continue to assist Grand Bahama in the recovery efforts.
We have enjoyed over the last couple of weeks that you provided us with information about the needs that are occurring, and as well coordinate all the different aid that you're receiving from different angles. And so just once again, thank you very much for your efforts in all of this. I know this has been a very difficult and challenging time for all of you, principals, and as well this office. And so we are, as Pastor Moncu said, we are privileged that we can come alongside and assist you in these efforts.
I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us, there's more news on the other side of the break.